Well, folks, here we are. That was I got that thing going on again.
What thing?
I
That
have a
thing? Oh, that thing again?
window open somewhere.
A window is open. Well, more than one, that's for sure. Certainly Seattle's.
Yeah, okay, there we go. Solved that technical difficulty that time. All right. Yeah, so it's over. The 2025 season is concluded. The 2026 season begins now. Big questions. Big questions.
A lot of questions. You have a lot of questions. I do feel like it's very hard when you're a fan base, or even just an outlet covering the team, and then it all sort of ends at once. I get it now if you're a player, the hard work, right? Because for me, it's never really about necessarily the stats, but it's about how hard this team has worked. And think about, this is why I thought this game might have been slightly different. The Rams had to go. Are you drinking a little wine there? Cheers.
A little Nero Diavolo. What do you got? You got something pink.
What?
You got something pink in your drink.
This is a pomegranate margarita. I was at the SoFi watch party, interviewed a couple of the fans, but
I saw that.
We've talked about this. I don't do well with a ton of people around. If I am working, I can have a good time. But when it requires me to focus, I can't even be in that media room with like the regular media if it's loud, because I don't do things. I can't do this at the same time. Just can't do it. Can't fucking do it. Sorry, excuse me. Can't freaking do it. But this is YouTube. You can cuss, right? We're not on like.
Yeah, you're good. And if there's a time and a place warranted to let a few F-bombs fly, S-bombs, some BS, some B's.
No, it's frustrating. We're gonna get into it, and people feel free. They're gonna weigh in. I don't know. How'd you feel about this one? This was a tough one. I felt like the reason why I thought this was different was because last time they went to Seattle, it was a short week. They had a baby on Monday. The Monday before, they left for Thursday. The week before that, he was sick. He almost missed Arizona's game. And at the end of the day, the better team won. Let's give credit to Seattle, man. They really did it.
Yeah, I think, we can get into the blame game of it all for sure. But I think, let's take a minute to just appreciate this team. Both of these teams, honestly. Let's say, okay, Seattle, this is, by DVOA, these are the number 1 and number 2 team. Back and forth both weeks, overtime in the second go around, high scoring, low scoring, good defense, bad defense, good offense, bad off. Like we've seen it all from these two teams playing against each other. And wow, what a year. It's not easy. One team wins the NFC Championship game. One team wins the Super Bowl.
Why can't it be 2?
And okay, so I walked into this game, we did our little preview for it, and I was kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah, you were actually. I was gung-ho. I'm like, it's gonna be different, guys. We're gonna give him another shot. You were not, though. You were middle of the road.
Yeah, this one shot right down the middle. There was no way for me to choose. In some ways, I think the Rams were the better team. But what does that mean in a game? The twists and turns of a 60-minute football game. A lot of things change in that time frame. And I will say this: they had their chance to win the game. They had a shot to do it, and they didn't execute when they needed to. So
why don't we bring up some of those examples? Because I think What's funny is this is how I sort of started, and now I'm finally in the groove of how I do my little post-game shows with you. I'm like, I'm gonna just tweet everything and then I'll go through it. But you made a good point. You were like, the refs gift them with that taunting penalty. Did you not think that should have been what it was? Because obviously the Rams responded with a Puka Nacua touchdown shortly after that, right? The Seahawks stayed up, obviously 31-27, but how did you feel about that? That was like a gift, you thought? You tweeted it.
Well, I mean, a gift. What, like they made the call, so like he was yelling at the sidelines. We don't know what he said is probably what got him flagged.
Yeah.
We saw, a couple weeks ago, Rams get flags not in their favor. Those. So I think those are just kind of. But it was a gift. I mean, it was a 4th down play. In the NFC Championship game, should refs be making calls like that? He must have said something pretty terrible. So, some weeks it goes your favor and some weeks it doesn't go your favor. So that's the only reason I really bring it up, is to say, like, sometimes the Rams are gifted penalties and sometimes their opponents are. And the Rams were gifted this one. They go get that touchdown. Here's a question. Why not go for 2? You're going to be down by 4. If you're down by 4 or 5, you still need a touchdown. Go for 2. Cut it to just a field goal margin, and things could have looked a lot different on that final drive.
What did you think about the timeout called? There was a lot of
super bizarre. Here's Oscar again with his assessment of McVay. Poor clock management, poor decisions making. Xavier Smith, my guy. He's 5'9". Every guy that's under 5'10" is my guy.
Are you 5'9"?
I'm 5'8".
But are you really?
But when I wear boots,
That's amazing. How tall is McVay? Someone was asking.
He's about our height. I mean, my height. Our height.
Okay.
Yeah.
5'8", give or take.
Yeah, right around there. 5'7", 5'8", somewhere in there. Okay. But also played wide receiver, so incredible.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, at University of Miami, Ohio.
He gives quarterback vibes, but okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and that's what it's frustrating. And I think that beyond the kind of situational, the play calling aspects, that 4th down in your own end zone, like, was that kind of aggressive play calling the best way to go about it? These are all the toss up things, but I think what you can really point to are a couple of just kind of baked into the Rams flaws that were exploited in this game. If the pass rush wasn't getting home, they were getting taken advantage of. And one of the things that I noticed is that they were stacking the box against the run and ended up getting gashed on some of those plays. Now, what that means is they move guys closer to the line of scrimmage between the tackle boxes. And it's a traditional run stopping formation. And they did a great job against that, but they ended up getting gashed several times over the top to those DBs. They just don't have enough. The DBs, we've talked about it all season. We don't need to go into detail about that. They lack speed on defense. They need to address that.
And tackling was so bad. And it's not like it was just this game. Tackling has been an issue. I mean, I saw what was that offensive lineman's name? Brandman, whatever his name was. He threw down Nate Landman. Like, Nate Landman was a child. Okay. And Nate Landman is one of the most athletic players on the team. But tackling, for some reason, or the missed assignments, that's not the right word. Missed people.
The gap integrity and the coverage.
Sure. Personally, what I saw was this Rams team felt, for whatever reason, I wouldn't even say out-coached, but there was they were out-physicaled in several moments. And obviously tackling had been an issue with this team, but the physicality of the Seattle Seahawks, I actually wondered before this game, I was like, okay, well, the Niners are banged up. They're a good team. But I was like, oh, the polarity or the difference in that score to me signified that the Niners were not good. But now I believe it. I'm like, the Seahawks are a really good team.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
They got talent all over the place. They did a fantastic job strategically adding pieces to that team. DeMarcus Lawrence being a good one to look at. Going back to the Rams defense. So another thing that's baked into it is a lack of depth along the defensive line. And one of the things we saw over the past weeks and years with Sam Darnold is if you get pressure in his face, he's going to make mistakes. Guess what? No interceptions in this game. And you go back to that first one, 4 interceptions in that game. That obviously swayed the result of that one. But they did the Rams didn't step up their blitzing, which has been a calling card of theirs all season long. They've been fine not blitzing, but in this game, my question is why not? Why not dial that up more often to force those kind of errors out of Sam Darnold? And part of the reason is they are just tragically thin there. Then you lose Kobe Turner. Byron Young is banged up. He did not have a good game whatsoever. I think he ended with 0 pressures per PFF. Jared Verse tried to step it up. He had 5 or 6 pressures in the game. But there's just not a lot of answers if those 4 guys aren't just clicking. Those 4 completely depended on those guys. And they just had enough weapons. Cooper Kupp, several gigantic plays, 3rd and 9, I think a 3rd and 10 he converted. He got a touchdown as well. So, the defense just, a lot of reflection has to happen in this offense. Got Jason here with a comment. Shula and his overuse of stunts take too long, leaving our secondary naked. That's another great point. The defense finally got to the point where this whole playoffs, honestly, they've just been getting attacked and been exploited the whole time. So I think on that side of the ball, they have to take the lion's share of the blame. On the offensive side, the game plan was Stafford go win this game. And I think for the most part, played a really good game early on, seemed out of rhythm with his guys. But the playmakers were making plays. The running game was completely shut down. Historically good success rate this season. Last I looked, they were somewhere in the 30s, which would put them in the low 20s, almost around 30% success rate in this game, specifically in the run game. So I've always pointed to that as the backbone of the defense. So, or of the offense. So they just kind of had to play with one hand tied behind their back on offense, and that was enough for the Seattle Seahawks to squeak in enough points.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because you're trying to, process it and understand it all in real time, which coaches don't actually really understand it until they download the tape and see what went right, what went wrong. And I've always said momentum shifts, but me, this relationship, I'm like the perennial optimist. And I really did feel like there were so many moments where there was a huge shift of momentum, right? You had the Kyron Williams with the 9-yard touchdown pass, putting the Rams up with 2 minutes left in the first half. And then obviously capitalizing on that Woolen taunting penalty, which I'm dying to know what it was he said. And then, this team had gone through such a gauntlet to get here. It's mind blowing how quick it shifts. It felt for me even almost at the end of the game. I was like, I can't believe we actually only have like less than 2 minutes left and no timeouts.
Yeah.
Why didn't you think that McVay don't you have a curiosity about, and we haven't actually had a chance to see McVay's post-game presser right now. He's probably going to get asked that, right?
Sure.
Why didn't you? I mean, I'm watching it with friends, so I'm also, and they're all Seahawks fans, ironically enough, here in LA. And by the way, I'm not like a fan of anybody, but it's like I'm always taking the pulse of whoever I'm with.
Yeah.
They couldn't believe it either. They were like, why is he not throwing a challenge flag? Can you?
Well, he had it in his hand.
What happened there?
I think the refs talked him into not throwing it. They were like, and it looked pretty good. I mean, from the angles that I saw, I think it looked like it was a first down. So he would have burned a timeout there anyway.
That's yeah.
I mean, I think he just got caught up in the heat of the moment. I think he wanted to get his offense back on the field so desperately with some time on the clock to operate because they needed a touchdown. They put themselves in the position.
Right. Couldn't do a field, which Harrison Mavis, by the way, he was perfect.
Yeah.
And the muffed punt, right?
Yeah.
I went to the bathroom during that.
Oh no.
Situation, and I'm like, oh my god, muffed punt. I'm getting down. I'm like, okay, what did I miss? You're like, special teams again, and I'm like, you mean in a good way? So, yeah, I mean, it's a bummer when you lose like this, but
yeah, well, and it's the irony, what I was talking about with the defense, special teams. Of course.
Yeah.
Why would they pitch a perfect game in the biggest moment? Why did he even go to field that punt? I mean, just he's falling backwards trying to catch it for no apparent reason. Xavier Smith, you're still my guy. I'm still rooting for you. Inexplicably, can't help it.
How much action did Tutu get in?
He was inactive. He wasn't even in the game. The $10 million man was on the sidelines without a helmet. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's if they resign him, they make that decision. My head will freaking explode. So, yeah, I mean, you tweeted or, at a certain point, you said something about a big momentum shift in the in LA's favor. And, I think that might've been when they went from, they scored a touchdown to go down 13-24 to 20-24. I think that's when it happened. But just go back to that first three plays, 7 yards, punt, first drive for the Rams. Second one, the Seahawks come back, 7 plays, 81 yards, touchdown. And then the Rams answer with a field goal. You look at those drives as well. That that kind of set the tone for the game in terms of momentum. And I think they just had so much confidence playing their offense that, yeah, it's just the defense did it. The Seahawks defense did enough to just squeeze them enough.
Yeah. So you're saying I should have asked Stafford the defense wins question.
I thought of that as I was pouring my glass of wine. Actually, I was like, I wonder if she asked that question. Actually,
I didn't. I chickened out.
Yeah. No. Well, hopefully you're invited back for some post-season press conferences, and you can ask.
I never did because I thought about it. I'm like, what's he going to say that actually is fair? Like it's an accurate point, and Rams got proven that tonight. Like I never felt like confident for some reason that they would wrap their heads around this even though I still believe they're the more talented roster, and that was what was shocking to me was I think Rams fans can agree in moments like this, hostile environments, clutch performances, high pressure moments, Stafford and McVay are the more counted upon duo. And yet we saw an incredibly poised Sam Darnold.
Shockingly so, to be honest. There was a couple of times where the pocket was collapsing, and I'm like, "This is the Darnold moment." This is the Darnold moment. There's like five,
and there were right that Cam Kitchen's sack loss.
Well, that was just a beautiful play design. He didn't even stand a chance.
Why didn't they do that a bunch? Why didn't that happen?
That's my question: is why not dial it? Why? So this is the biggest game you've played all year. You've played for 6 months leading up to this moment.
Right.
You've kicked each other's asses all year long. Why not just dial it up on first down, some blitzes, and get in his face and try to shake that confidence? But they just didn't do it. I mean, I don't know.
It felt like the game was won with the offensive line for the Seahawks. They moved the run game around. They just, I don't know. There was something about how this game developed through the trenches, and the offensive line for the Seattle Seahawks was just better.
Enough. Yeah.
Better.
Yeah.
More physical.
Well, and those long extended drives, not having Kobe Turner, losing, already being thin along the defensive line, not really being able to sub guys out, it wears them down. And I think by the end of the game, the defensive line was not effective. So we've got a Super Bowl in 2 weeks. Seahawks, Patriots.
Yep.
You think the Seahawks are taking it?
I think that's the consensus.
Yeah.
I mean, even people who are here at this party at my friend's house who are Patriots fans don't believe the Patriots are going to win. So, I mean, anything's possible. We've seen that. But I think the Seahawks just have a really good defense. And you said this to me. Was it Friday? You're like, the Rams have not played a solid defense except for the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, I didn't include the Eagles as well. The Eagles are pretty solid. But all of those games, every single one of those games was close.
One score, right? I mean, it's been close all year.
Yeah. So biggest questions. Now that we're in the off season, it's the off season, guys. I'm sorry.
It's the off season.
We can't.
What do we
I'm not
do?
doing anything shocking.
What do I do with my hands? I don't even know what to do now. Do you know what I'm referencing? With my hands. Okay, good.
That's my favorite Will Ferrell movie of all time. It's the best. Talladega Nights.
Honestly, what Will Ferrell movie isn't everyone's favorite? Wedding Crashers is mine.
Elf. I don't like Elf.
Elf. Oh, wait, I actually don't think he was in Wedding Crashers, so that was terrible. But old school Elf was amazing. Not going to use the F-bomb because kids are around.
Yeah.
Elf was amazing. Wait, maybe he was in Wedding Crashers. Yeah, he was.
He may have made a cameo. I don't remember.
Because he goes to the funerals to pick up chicks. Smart guy.
Is he the one that's like, Mom, meatloaf. Meatloaf.
Will Ferrell's a genius. It is what it is.
Really
if he was Will Ferrell, we don't get along. And Will Ferrell would be very happy about Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold, fellow Trojan. And I'm happy. I'm happy for Sam Darnold.
Fight on.
I'm happy for him. I do love when these kinds of underdog stories persevere. And when you're humble and you're a good guy on top of it. And Sam Darnold has proven to be both. Just not tonight, Sam. Just not tonight. Could you not have thrown like an interception or two or fumbled the ball at least once? That would have been fine. But it is what it is.
All right. Off-season questions.
Okay,
Where are you on Stafford retirement watch 2.0?
I mean,
3.0?
come on, let's have common sense here. He's not retiring. It's not happening next year. The Rams won't allow it. Devontae has said it's not happening. They need to bring on a young guy, that's to me the more important question. In what round are they drafting a quarterback now that they have 2 first rounders? They need to bring along somebody to watch Stafford, much like Rodgers did with Favre. So
that's the winning formula. That's Steve Young behind Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers behind Favre, and then Jordan Love behind Rodgers.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you risk purgatory. You risk purgatory if you don't have it.
Rams have a very difficult decision in how do we keep the core of veterans together while rebuilding the future. Mm-hmm. And they've done a very good job of doing it. I mean, it's not easy, but they have figured it out. They've drafted well. The more important question for me is like, and I've lost my train of thought, so I will come back to that.
You want me to throw the next big question?
Well, no, I
want to remember
what I was going to say. Go ahead.
All right. Next big question. Free agent re-signing. Rob Havenstein contract is over. Tyler Higbee's contract is over. Kobe Durant, his contract is done. Cam Curl contract is over. I mean, there's some names. Some names.
I remembered what I was going to say, and then I forgot it again. Has that ever happened to you?
Of course.
Okay, good. What I was going to say is my biggest question is which coach is leaving?
Oh, yeah.
I think that's interesting. But okay, going back to you, I believe Stafford is staying. They need to figure out the secondary. They did an amazing job with who they had, but no big named free agency, sexy name. Jalen Ramsey was like flirted with, but obviously they were happy with what they had. And I think sometimes those are smart decisions. Hey, listen, let's roll with what we have. Let's make the most out of it. And if we have not seen anything but that actually happening, special teams being a great example, Harrison Mavis being the golden story of this guy was picked up, whatever it was, week 9. And they believed in him. He hadn't played in an NFL game, and he was basically perfect this season, except for one missed field goal. It was an important missed field goal, but it was one. So can they keep this coaching staff together? Can they add reinforcements that matter in this secondary, which I think the secondary has been the biggest issue? And is Stafford gonna come back? What's up with Puka? I think that there's a lot of question marks with regards to this team this offseason. But this team, they had to endure so many weird, unique challenges. The future is bright, much like in Chicago, but I think the biggest question is how will they make the cap hit fit? Because they're going to have to pay some money. They're going to have to pay guys. They paid Kyron. They paid Quentin Lake. So they're going to
is going to be a gigantic contract.
It's going to be astronomical.
Yeah. He's going to be the highest paid wide receiver in the league. No question about it. All right. So say that again.
I said deservedly so.
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm not saying that, but it is a cap hit, and it's going to be big. And then if Stafford comes back, that is another big cap hit as well. They're going to do another 1 or 2 year contract, bunch of guaranteed money on it.
He's going to talk to the Giants and flirt with the somebody, but not the Ravens.
Well, and you're convinced he's coming back. I'm saying it's a coin flip at this point. It's a 50-50. He's gonna sit down with his wife and kids. He's gonna retire. If he decides, I mean, he's not going anywhere. If he wants to step away from the game, that is on the table. Like, you can't take that off the table. You might have we might have a feeling about it. You know, he might,
Wow.
maybe he feels like he's got unfinished business. Maybe like the toll of this season emotionally and physically was just too much. Maybe he just wants to settle down and be a dad. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's on the table, and that's a question that's going to be had until he signs a contract or not. But the other free agents, so I mentioned Havenstein, Tutu Atwell. He was on a 1-year, $10 million contract. Tyler Higbee. A lot of people are saying Havenstein and Higbee, it's time for them to go. I think Warren McClendon did a fine job. So that interests that Cam Curl I mentioned. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh yeah,
that's an interesting name there. Your internet is not delayed. You're good. And then Akella Witherspoon, also a free agent. I've said it multiple times. They have exactly 5 DBs under contract, and I think 3 of them are cornerbacks. They're going to need a lot of reinforcements in that, regardless of whatever decisions they make, whether that's bringing back Kobe Durant, whether that's bringing back Akella Witherspoon. Let's hope. All right. So then draft. That's the next big question. You already kind of broached it. They've got 13, and then they'll have so it's probably, I guess they're 29 or 28th in the draft order in the first round.
Well, yeah, they have the 2.
Yeah.
What is Atlanta at? Like 7, 6?
No, 13. That's where.
13 and 26 is what you're saying.
13 and 29, I would imagine. I can look it up. Okay. But what quarterbacks, it's not the class everybody thought it was. First rounders are probably going to be your Fernando Mendoza and your Ty Simpson. I don't think Ty Simpson is a good choice to go with. He's only played 14 games as a starter at Alabama, so that's not great.
Well, and here's the thing that's interesting, folks at home. I've been thinking about this. It's like, imagine dating or being married to, like, the smartest. They work out, they eat healthy, they study.
Guys, start writing these things down. This is what she's looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. They're good influence on you. They don't party and drink all night, whatever it is. Okay? And then you guys things don't work out. Go your separate ways. And then it's like, how do you even replace that? This is literally what I think about with McVay and Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
Stafford is humble. The guy ducks under cameras when you're doing interviews so you don't interrupt. He has zero
no ego.
Zero ego, but he is confidence AF.
Yeah.
And very smart. So
and one hell of a quarterback.
Amazing quarterback. And talk about the fact that, like, he goes for it on 4th and 1. I thought about that. I'm like, this guy is crazy. I was like, he went to battle for us. And I'm not like, I try to be an unbiased reporter, broadcaster. Yeah. But if you're an LA Rams fan and you see your quarterback who has a bad back, a sprained finger on your throwing hand, and you go for it with those crazy men, I'm like, that's my guy. That's my guy. Yeah. Kelly Stafford. Loved Matthew Stafford just a tiny bit more because he went for it. He's like, I am not afraid to fight. he went in for battle. I love that, though. I think that's what we love about Matthew Stafford. So
yeah. I love a good relationship metaphor. They're the best.
Exactly. So, and by the way, here's the other reason. McVay is so intelligent. He cannot stand, and not that Jared Goff wasn't what
he lost his patience with Jared Goff.
That might have been part of it.
It was 100%.
So I think it will have to happen, but McVay is going to never settle. He is going to pick the right partner that makes the most sense for his family. He is not going to just pick the stud with the flash. He's going to pick the guy that takes care of his family, that takes care of his body. That is what Matthew Stafford represents. And Matthew Stafford is already like an offensive coordinator, but with an insane arm and attitude and humility and regular guy. He doesn't send emojis. He doesn't get caught up in all that. He has 4 daughters. The guy's amazing. Good luck replacing that. That is why I think he is not going to leave next season. McVay is going to figure out how to, he's going to propose this year. This is it. He's getting down on bended knee. I'm kidding. But you know what I mean? I think that relationship that they have, and who knows, but I think that relationship is such a special relationship. They both, the way I hear them speak about each other, it is inspiring. I'm like, I wish people, like I had people talk like this about how much they care.
You want to find somebody that loves you like
somebody that looks at Stafford or how McVay looks at Stafford. That's what I want. Like
we should all be looking for that. Yeah. But you're saying that as this grand pronouncement of why they're going to renew their vows, and I keep going like, there's an expiration date on this guy, and we don't know when it's it's not stamped on his ass or anything like that. So
right. But and that was brought up a lot tonight. At 37, he'll be 38 soon.
2 days before the Super Bowl.
Right? Oof, crush.
Yeah.
Think about having a birthday right around Super Bowl, and you are either a coach or a quarterback. That's gotta hurt.
Well, McVay's 40 now. Thank God. Yeah. I don't feel as old. We're in the same decade. Yeah, no, I have no horse in the race with Stafford. I think he's great. But there's the reality. There's a date and a time that he is going to retire. And as of today, the Rams are not prepared for that whatsoever. You want Jimmy Garoppolo in there? You want to try out Stetson Bennett? Be my guest. But right now, as we sit here, as we live and breathe in the year of our Lord 2026,
you're ridiculous.
I know. I've made my point. I've made my point. Like
you're right. You're 100% right. There's no backup plan. There's no, they love their backups and they're great insurance plans, but there is no Stafford, 0%. And you know what? Who was the guy that said Cam Newton? He's like, Cam Newton is even saying it. And Cam Newton doesn't give a lot of credit to a lot of people. Even he's like, Stafford's 101.
Yeah, no. And I think, I've been saying for, I want to say 2 years, Stafford is the Super Bowl window for the Rams. And until they have another quarterback situation in there, that's it. That's their Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
So is there only one more year left in the event he comes back? He's not doing it. He's coming back. He's not breaking the LA fan base's heart. He's coming back. You heard that? Stafford, you're coming back. He has to. He really has to. They're gonna make it work. But so let me ask you this. This is it? You're saying this one last year and then he's done, you think?
I have no idea. I mean, he could play till he's 40. I don't know. I try not to, prediction business is fun, but it's like it's also
so ridiculous.
It's a fool's errand.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the point you always make is this is a human decision. He has to make a choice about, his family, his health, his relationship with his kids and his wife, his relationship with the game itself. Mm-hmm. Like the last thing you want to see is him turn into Peyton Manning, where he can't throw the ball down the field because listen, we've seen all sorts of quarterbacks where their arms just drop off inexplicably, from Drew Brees. Phillip Rivers still had it. Matt Ryan, I think Tom Brady just didn't want to get hit ever. That was kind of his downfall. And Stafford's got a bit of that. Stafford's got a bit of that. He still tried to scramble to pick up that first down, but he's got a lot more aversion to getting hit. So all that to say is I'm not going to make a prediction whether when he's going to retire, but I can say without a doubt he will retire.
I think he also has to get on the same page with the Rams on what are your choices in the offensive decisions. How much are you going to invest in offensive line reinforcements? Is Devontae going to come back? Those are, to me, decisions that play into the quarterback's choice of coming back. And remember, a part of one of Devontae's press conferences, he made the joke, and I pinned it to my Instagram, I'll retire when Stafford retires. So I think we're not going to know until Stafford really knows the future decisions of what this Rams organization's true investments are going to look like. And look, I think my sense, and it hasn't been wrong this season, my sense.
I love that confidence.
It hasn't been wrong in reading the room with how I have seen relationships play out. And really, it's really a compliment because it's a trickle down. I think it's how McVay speaks about his players, and it's also the trust with how the president talks about his team, Kevin Demoff, and even like the executives that speak, but also the media. Like the media gets treated really well in that organization. And I think they feel blessed. I think they feel blessed that we are creating, much like what you guys are doing, storylines that people relate to. And, I was at SoFi earlier today. I was at the watch party. I couldn't believe how many Rams fans showed up.
Yeah, that place was packed out.
It was packed.
Brittany Betts, our good friend Brittany Betts, who's going to be at the Super Bowl, was there as well. Yeah, I mean, I think there is a ton to root for with this team, 100%. I know Les Need is thinking about it. The Stafford question. They know they need to address it. They know there's a shelf life for this guy. It's so well. The thing I forgot to mention is go check out the Harrison Mevis interview that Erin did on her Instagram, Erin Coscarelli on Instagram. Very good. It's the biggest question in football right now, I think. And I think, to your point about the coaching staff, that's a big one as well.
Yeah.
Dave Ragone is not a name we've heard much in the cycle. I've heard it a little bit, but he's the quarterback's coach. They have a very close relationship. At training camp, they were they were tied at the hip with each other, and they like to agree with each other, it seemed like, from what I saw. So, it's just one of those things that, hopefully it whatever the decision is made, it's made sooner than later.
Yeah.
And we've seen it drag on to weird and upsetting extents in the past. But he's got no guaranteed money right now. So that's why I'm on the fence. If there was something on his contract that was already in place, but the thing they agreed to when they signed that contract together, both sides, the Rams and Matthew Stafford, was that 2025 is locked in. 2026, we'll approach that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And now they're at that bridge. So all that to be said is
he did everything right. He's got all the freaking marbles. That's not the right term. You know what I'm saying?
No, I totally agree. And I think
cards. What's the term?
I think the Rams want him back, and he's got plenty of money in the pocket. So I don't know why. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves, and we're trying to answer questions that don't have any answers right now. Only predictions. And we can predict all we want. You're convinced he's coming back, and I'm going to play my cards a little closer to the vest on this one, just because we don't know. It's a profoundly human decision he has to make, And it's going to affect all of us, every one of us.
And mostly McVay. He's like, because who does he get to replace even the IQ of a guy like Stafford? He is, patient and an intelligent coach and teacher, but he's not trying to put training wheels on somebody at the moment.
Well, that's always been my question about drafting a quarterback is he patient enough to get them to the point to be an NFL quarterback? And obviously he played a big part in Goff's development between 2016 and 2017, made a huge jump, played a lot better. But he also kicked that guy to the curb.
He
when they didn't make the playoffs, or when he couldn't when Goff couldn't throw outside the numbers anymore, but
let that be part of the indication of just if we want to parse together thoughts and concepts, they may want someone more advanced. He may not want to train and coach a rookie. I'm just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Yeah, but getting a quality quarterback, that's even harder than drafting one. There's Stafford fell into their laps. They were both hanging out in Cabo and just decided to, get together for a few Super Bowls. So, is that going to happen again? I keep pointing towards Joe Burrow as somebody that might want to get out of a terrible situation. Guys like Kyler Murray are probably going to be available. I cannot imagine McVay enjoying that circus show. Tua Tagovailoa might be available. Also a flawed quarterback. What was delivered when Stafford showed up was a complete mature human being and quarterback all at the same time. And that's just, Burrow is probably the only realistic option out there that I can think of off the top of my head. That's like good quarterback, smart guy, dialed in, doesn't need coaching to get him to the next level. But I love that is a pie in the sky kind of dream.
I see that happening. That's we need to post that. That's a clickbait if I've ever heard one. It's almost like, does it feel like I was going to tweet this, but it was too close to my own home? Like, don't the end of games sometimes feel like breakups in respect, like the shoulda, woulda, coulda? You're like, if only I called them more, you know what I mean? Or if only I would have done this thing differently. It is the quintessential relationship shoulda, woulda, coulda. If only I was just more emotionally mature in that situation. You know what I mean?
You're blaming yourself for this one?
Always. It's always my fault. I'm always the problem child. No, but you know what I mean? It's so true. You're like, you're going to hear McVay tomorrow. Take accountability, which is typically how he is. And we appreciate that. If you're a fan of football, he'll never really blame his players. And I know we're short on time, but I feel like football is also similar to the game of life. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why we love it. There's, losing is a part of life. We take L's at work. We take L's in relationships. We take L's on the field of football. So
yeah,
it's it's part of it. Like I'm convinced that I've never met more miserable people than Bostonians.
Oh, is that right?
Bostonian sports fans, anyway. Despite 6 championships,
I was going to say, what are they upset about? The weather?
No, because it's about the next one.
Oh, yeah.
Winning is about the next one.
Yeah, they're never happy.
Yeah. So the Dodgers, they got 2. Well, they want 3 now. Well, 3 is good. Other teams have done 3. Why not 4?
Yeah. You stop needing to raise the bar. You guys just be happy with what you got.
And then you got the Pat Riley disease of me sneaking in. It was, anyway.
It's ridiculous.
I don't want to get too esoteric in all this, but it's these are analogies for us. That's why fans fight in stadiums over stuff, because
totally
there's bigger things happening in whatever. I'm not going to comment on that.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Guys, this has been a ride. 2025 has been a ride for the Rams. It's been a ride for the Rams LAFB show. We got a new logo at some point. I don't know if you guys noticed that. Kind of looks like the Captain Crunch logo, but it's working all right. So thanks for hanging out with us week in and week out. I can't thank Erin Coscarelli enough for committing to do this show with me every week, and then committing to do even more when I was like, I like doing this with you. So this isn't the end of it. Anything. We're going to continue working shows out and turning out content. And can't thank you enough from the bottom of my LAFB heart, because we are one of the few local and independent outlets out there for you. We have no corporate overlords. We have nobody telling us what to do except for it's me and Ryan Dyrud. We're kind of with two guys heading up the ship here. So it's been a blast, guys, and I always thank you, and I mean it from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, we're going to be out at Super Bowl Radio Row, but we'll have shows in the interim. That's 2 weeks away. Well, no, that's a week away. The Super Bowl's 2 weeks away, but we'll be in San Francisco in 1 week. So I'm sure we'll have a show up 1 or 2 before then. And the off season is honestly probably more fun than the season because so free agency and then the draft and then OTAs, and you get to see all the new guys, and we're gonna have all the Stafford news, and hey, maybe Aaron Donald will finally come out of retirement. I doubt that. But we can't do this without you, and I love doing this. So I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. That's all we got for this very sad edition of the live reaction show. But I'm a Minnesota Twins fan, and I live by the ethos, there's always next year. So we got Coach McVay. We know that. Well, do we?
Yeah.
Hey, Aaron, you have any words for our lovely fans? We're at an all-time high of viewers, so at least
I would imagine they'd be tuning in right now because they too need an outlet of therapy or something to sort of decompress. Listen, it has been absolutely the most favorite season I've ever covered in football. And I say that because of the people. It's not just that the team won and was so successful, and there were so many amazing storylines that reflected my own personal journey in life. And, I think what women can sort of gravitate towards is, if we didn't play the game, we certainly can relate to moments of pressure or failure or adversity, anxiety. And I grew up in LA. I'm from LA. And I think as I get older, I just similarly to McVay, want to just surround myself with people that make me better. So I have loved getting to cover this team. It is such an excellent team, but then also they carry themselves so well, from the Les Sneads to the McVays to the broadcasters to the reporters to those that are passionate about covering their team, which you are top of the list. Ryan Anderson, I have loved getting to work with you. It has been so much fun. You're the easiest person to talk to. Literally feels like I'm having a beer or a pomegranate margarita. And I just want to say thank you to the fans and to the audience that also is passionate about the storylines, because that's kind of why I think we do it. I think we do it because there's something connective for community. So I have needed this team as much as maybe the fans have needed it. It's been so much fun getting to cover it. And I agree. I think what is it? Never a good story is told without a little bit of adversity. I remember McVay saying that, I think after the Carolina loss. So here we go on to 2026.
Yeah. Wonder what the first game is going to be. That's another big day. Schedule release day.
Oh yeah.
We already know who
they're Melbourne.
Say that again.
They're going to Melbourne sometime early in the season.
Yeah, and I think we're going to Melbourne. I don't know if that's true.
Oh yeah, we're going.
Okay, sounds good.
I promise we will go. We're going. But yeah, anyways, love you guys. Thank you for having me, and it's been so much fun. And
yes.
You're the best. You're the best, Ryan. I love working with you.
Oh, well, the feeling is mutual. And let's continue growing this thing. Let's keep having fun with this thing, and we'll see what it feels like a new year all of a sudden.
I guess. Yeah.
Anyway, we're at 55 minutes, so let's get the fuck out of here. Peace.
It's a bail.